Since our gospel lesson talks a little bit about fishing today, I thought I'd share a little fishing story with you. There was a man who was fishing up in the northern Algonquin Park recently, and as he was walking through the parking lot after fishing with his pails full of fish, he was encountered by a game warden. And so, of course, what game wardens do, they ask you for your fishing license. And the man said, "No, sir, I don't have a fishing license, but these are my pet fish." "Pet fish?" the game warden said. Yes, every night I come down here and I put them in the lake so that they can swim around a bit. And then when I whistle, they all jump back in the buckets and I take them home." "I don't believe you. Fish can't do that." The game warden obviously didn't believe him. So the man looked at the game warden for a moment and he said, "Well, wait, why don't you come with me? I'll show you. It really works." "Okay, I've got to see this," said the game warden. So the man poured the fish back into the lake and he stood there for a few minutes. The game warden waited and he said, Well, what?" the man said. "When are you going to call them back?" "Call who back?" said the man. "The fish," the game warden said. He goes, "What fish?" Didn't get a fine. I know, it's kind of lame, but there are a number of fishing stories in the Bible, but none are really as detailed as the one that was shared in our gospel lesson today. And if you're listening closely and you know some of the older stories and the earlier stories, it reminds us of another encounter that Jesus had with Simon Peter and James and John when they were fishing on the Sea of Tiberias. They had empty nets that day as well. And after meeting Jesus on that first day and trying one more time, their catch almost sinks their boat. But in today's lesson, all the disciples come to shore after another miraculous catch. And that is where Jesus came and took the bread and he gave it to them, and they recognized him because this sort of thing had happened before on a hillside where 5 loaves and 3 fish fed thousands. And I just always wonder, how did Jesus find them? And obviously Peter said, "I'm going fishing," and all his disciples came with him, but did he hang a sign on his door that said, "Gone fishing"? And why go fishing when they obviously had a job to do? Well, consider what we all do when we're overwhelmed by life. We always need a little bit of a break, don't we? Consider also the turbulent last week of Jesus' life. And the disciples were right there with him every step of the way. There was that emotional high as they entered into Jerusalem, to the upset in the temple, and then an extraordinary Passover meal that led them to a troubling night in the Garden of Gethsemane. Jesus' betrayal then to the Romans, his arrest, the farce of a trial, more betrayals, and a brutal death. The human spirit can only take so much. Those bewildering days that followed the empty tomb must have done a job on all of the disciples' minds, making them wonder about their own sense of reality. I think that we've all known times such as these, especially when we've lost a loved one. But any major upheaval in our lives upsets our sense of well-being. We don't always recognize it at the time. We're just putting one foot in front of the other. We can only focus on the simplest of tasks. Now, I remember when I was selling my parents' house, sometimes I'd walk into a room and then I'd stop and I'd go, "What am I doing in here?" I couldn't even remember from one moment to the next what I was supposed to be doing. Times like those, it's good to hang a sign on the door that just says, "Gone fishing," or "Gone hiking," or "Gone to the beach," or wherever each one of us needs to go to center our minds and our hearts and our spirits. We also heard the story of Saul's encounter with Jesus on the road to Damascus. His world, his whole sense of purpose, that moment was turned upside down. Now, I'm kind of conflating the story, but whether he was truly struck blind. That blindness is an apt metaphor describing a reaction to sudden change. Saul, who became Paul, couldn't or wouldn't see that his former life of persecuting the Christians had led him down the wrong path. His whole life in that moment was changed. And so, his blindness was an escape. An escape. It's a very human reaction to difficulty. It's how we respond to emotional upheaval. The disciples' decision to return to their former life helps us realize that in some ways there's really no escape, at least from Jesus. Because wherever they go, the Lord will be with them. The psalmist asks so poignantly of God, "Where can I go from your presence? Where can I flee from your spirit?" In the end, perhaps the risen Lord offers the Peter in each one of us another way to recognize and encounter the divine in the day-to-day things that we do. So today, on this ordinary Sunday, in the season of Easter, we're invited to meet with and recognize again Jesus in the breaking of the bread and in the sharing of the cup, remembering his extraordinary last meal with his disciple and always with us.